Places leaks have been found before. Under the plastic trim in the roof gutter, especially on the end by the boot. Under the light cluster, around the screw holes and the cable grommet. Around the door hinges where the panel joins, especially the top. Around the body panel joins in general, inside the boot lid gutter. Around the vents behind the bumper. Put sealer around the hinges and especially above the hinge, as he felt the water was coming in through there, being squeezed through. Also, in other videos, they talk about the body panel seams, where the body panel joins. But on this model, the seams are all very different, and all seem to join with the seam overlapping downhill, so water will run off or run over. Many videos point to the screws under the rear lights, and on this model, they are different to those videos. The screws on those videos are sunk in a little bit. But on this model, they have a grommet underneath the screws, or a waterproof washer or seal. So I'm not sure that's the problem. But I did notice that the grommet that the cable comes through for the lights wasn't as tight as, say, it could be. On mine, I pulled it out and had a look down to see where it went. And it sort of drops on top of the wheel arch in the back, which is where I noticed the highest point of the water was, or where I thought it was. So I kind of think it could be this grommet. So I've put silicone sealer around the hinges, the body seams, and I put sealer around the screw holes for the lights, just in case. And I have put sealer around the grommet for the lights. It's not very pretty. I don't care. I don't intend to ever sell this car. It's already an old banger. I'm just going to drive it into the ground. All I want is the water to stop coming in, steaming up the front windscreen and stinking the place out. There was another place someone mentioned, and that is the rain gutter on the roof of the car. You need to pull the plastic piece that sits inside the rain gutter up, and apparently there's a seal in there, and sometimes that can dry out or come and you have to reseal it. But that video was for a different model. But I break most plastic things, so I'm leaving that to the last. I'm just doing all the easy stuff first. And just one tip I will point out, I haven't screwed the lights in yet either, because even though the sealer is touch dry, I don't want the light casing or cluster to seal to any sealer I've put around the screws, because remember, you do need to be able to get those clusters out if you need to replace a lamp. So basically I just rested them in and so that I could shut the boot down later, because it's parked on the street, so I need to lock it up. Removing the bumper now shows the vents quite clearly. And I have found the bungs that other people were talking about. They're under here. To remove the vents, there are clips on the top and bottom. I just squeezed the top and bottom of the vent together and the bottom popped out. You can sort of feel what's going on if you do that. It's quite soft plastic, so just be careful. You could probably use a screwdriver or something to lever it out, but squeezing them together seemed to work. You can see inside the compartment the sound dampener. I took that out so we can have a look inside to see what's going on. What I did notice is that this compartment is actually open to the main boot as well, and it was wet yesterday a little bit. I could poke my finger up through the bung and I felt it was wet, but it had dried out by the time I got to it. So I just put some sealer around the vent hole and popped it back in. I did this on both sides. I did, however, notice this circle above the vent that appears to have like a paper cover, but it's a hole, and the cover is sort of coming away from the bodywork. So, and it does lead into the compartment, and I think this is pretty much more likely where the water was coming from. So I just smeared sealer over the top of the paper, and I did this on both sides. I think this hole, because it leads into the compartment and the boot, is probably the most likely culprit for water getting in, because it is just a paper cover and it is peeling away. So I just put sealer over the top of the paper cover and to stick it to the bodywork. I did this on both sides. I was going to leave it for last, and that's the roof gutter. And removing the plastic bit in the gutter seems quite easy in the end. I just lifted the edge with my finger and it came out. It just has these fins that wedge the plastic bit in, so no plastic clips that I normally break. Great. Why didn't I look there first? Well, because everyone on YouTube told me it was the other places. And to be fair, I think I did have other leaks on the other side. Anyway, here seems to be the problem. I think I can see a crack on the end there, and if I pour water in just that area, water appears on the seam in the boot and the seam above under the light fitting. Who would have believed water could squeeze out of the panels like that? I have waited for the bodywork to dry so the sealer works okay, and now I'm going to seal that area up. With that done, yes, I'm going to wait 24 hours for the sealer to dry again. If I'd spent £12 on CT1, I could have done this wet and tested it wet, because CT1 doesn't care about being wet. In fact, it likes it. It makes it cure faster.